We'll go ahead and begin the main event for the evening. So I think pretty much everyone here knows me, and I know all of you, I'm pretty sure. So we can just go ahead and go straight into Team E. Would y'all feel like presenting first?
Sorry, was that E as in Edward?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Take it away.
Wrong button. I'll share my screen. Oh, host is disabled screen sharing.
Let me see if I can fix that. Screen share. Well, let's see. Sorry, I'm on my phone, as you can tell. Share screen. Okay.
There we go. Okay, so this is our Team E project. We started off with some pre-planning where we kind of figured out what we wanted to use as our stack. We wanted to keep it front-end focused, so we ended up using Firebase as our backend. And we decided to do a project management website, and we let a computer choose our name, and it came up with eOrg, and we were like, that is so dumb, it's brilliant. So we kept it. So this is a project management site, and this was kind of our original user story and all of the stack that we chose to implement. We kind of divvied up tasks. I was familiar with Firebase. I had used it with projects before, so I kind of built out the back end, and everybody kind of like tackled different things. And if you guys, other team members, if you guys want to chime in and talk about what you guys did, that would be awesome. But our site is deployed on Firebase. It's a sort of typical project management site where you can log in with the user interface. And this is everything's through Firebase. So we're using Firebase authentication, storage, etc. So when you log in, you have a dashboard where you can see all of the current projects. There's some inline form editing where you can update any of those projects. This is not just a cool project, it is a very cool project. You can, while you're in your updating screen, you can also update members that are assigned to it, and status, etc. And we've got a side nav that gives you some extra functionality where you can see all of the projects that you have been either assigned to as a member or that you are an owner of. You've got some logout functionality there as well. And you can also build in a new project. And in the project show or index, you can click on any of the product or project cards and kind of see like a detailed show of that project where you can see everybody who is involved. We eventually wanted to add in some like communication element to it so that you can comment back and forth on the production or on the projects and kind of communicate in a ticket system. I think we also had high hopes of maybe our dashboard also having like sort of GitHub projects-esque, like a Kanban like display option as well, but we didn't quite get that far. But that is about it. Teammates, if you guys want to talk about what you guys contributed or anything exciting.
I'll go.
Go.
My name's Andrew. I worked on the input form for the for putting in a new project. Yep, and this is my first time working with material, so MUI was new to me. It's fun to learn. I like it over Bootstrap. It was a little bit of a learning curve, but not too bad. So there's our form. Really, the only thing that's required is the project name, and everything else is really flexible. I learned about the Firebase backend and like what all you can send. Yep, what all you can send back there, and we learned that it's like super flexible as far as the data that it will take, and it's easy to manage and manipulate to test things on the fly. And then I also worked on the nav bar. So the pretty little nav bar that slides in and out. That's all pretty much stock material stuff, but it looks really nice and it functions, so it's fun. And there's my dirty code. Please don't judge too harshly. It functions. Yeah, next.
Cool. Alfredo, Kevin, you guys want to talk about what you guys did?
Yeah, I'll go next. My name is Alfredo. Still trying to. I'm not a developer yet, but in the works right now. I worked on the table component, basically where you can add, not add yet, but would like to add that in the future. Edit, delete. So when you press the edit, you'll basically have these inputs, and you can just type in update stuff. There you go. Yeah. And you can also delete. What else did I work on, Josh? Still trying to figure it out. I also did the login.
Yeah, you did the login.
Yeah, the login. So basically, this is my first time working with Material UI also, and it was I love it. It's just something that I have to keep on pushing towards too. But other than that, yeah, that's I just kind of just implemented all the data that shows on the table, and you can just basically update the table. And if you want to show my code, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a tough time with that. Let's see.
So dashboard just goes to the table. This is
Mhm.
where all the magic happens.
Okay, so yeah, so basically just had the table, just a default table that I got from Material UI, and just kind of mapped over documents and passed it through the table body, and that gives me all the props that I passed through. It gives me all the on my table cells, gives me the name, the owner, description. And from there, I also have the table body inputs, and I passed props and destructured also. And I did inputs and of objects. Sorry. And yeah, I just kind of did like a one handle change to handle every multiple hard code of the table cells right there, the name, the owner. And from all there, that's yeah, that's what I have. Just a lot of code, a lot of code on that. But yeah, that's basically it. Is just passing a lot of props and destructuring the props to getting what I need to get. Anybody
Nice.
else?
That's a good job.
Thank you.
I have a question for y'all.
Mhm.
If we would have had 3 more weeks, do y'all have something else that you would have liked to have implemented? Like another cool feature to add on top of MVP?
Yeah, there's plenty of concepts that we had on the wireframe. But there's still more, and we still plan on working on this. and adding more features in the future. I would love to add it was kind of like it'll give you another feature of what is that called, Josh? It's kind of like
Oh,
Trello.
the Kanban board,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
GitHub
Kanban board.
projects. Yeah.
Mhm. And also our members, we would love to show the pictures that they upload as your default picture, and it shows if you're online or offline. You know, we still have a lot of features to add on there, and we plan on doing it.
Yeah, I would like a way to break projects down into like phases or even tasks. And that's something that you could use what's called sub collections in Firebase. So everything would be housed basically in like the main project collection. And then you can add like a sub collection to that. Maybe call it phases, and just break it down into smaller chunks, and then maybe break those phases down into smaller chunks like tasks. That was kind of like my end goal as far as backend data. And it's pretty much like the same type of data, dates, budgets, and stuff like that. Like nothing crazy, but just to learn how sub collections work within all that stuff. Yep.
Nice. This
Hey guys, are we gonna say something?
oh, you can go ahead.
Hey guys, first off, just big claps because this is really cool. Did you guys implement any sort of form validation? And if so, like what kind of stuff, or what kind of stuff did you plan to do?
I think we did not have any validation. We had some requirements, but one of the things that we figured out really quickly with Firebase is that it's great that it's so flexible, but it's also terrifying that it's so flexible. So we had not done a lot of validation checking for data on either the front or back end, but that is definitely something that we would need to implement in the future. As we were iterating through different code ideas for the update functions, we were like, oh, we just made that a string. Oh, we just made this an object now. So yeah, that was kind of terrifying. Definitely something that we would need to implement in the future.
I did have like an idea or something to consider. Like, I don't know, is somebody running the show here with the app itself?
Oh yeah, me.
Could we look at the app real quick? So like if you go to edit like a line, and the only reason I bring this up is because I've like done this like for actual like work, and it's been like a big pain, but something to consider, or something that would potentially make your life easier. If you guys are ever in a situation where you need to make something like this, consider like the create new form. Like you guys have that form where you can like make new stuff. If you throw that into a modal, where you can essentially like reuse that same component and just kind of like change the submit behavior. It can save you a lot of the headaches if you ever have like big form fields, or because like obviously like here you're kind of like space constrained. So it's just like something to think about that could make your life a lot easier, and also you wouldn't have to make a whole new like row component, because you could essentially like reuse the create component.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
didn't
That's a
think
great
about that,
idea.
to be honest. Thank you.
Yeah,
Actually-
I did this like at work, and I like kicked myself because I had to redo a bunch of stuff and turn it into a modal later. So this is like,
Yeah, this was
not
a
a
pain.
yeah, and it's like hard to do it like performantly, and sometimes you can have like a bunch of re-renders and stuff.
Yes.
So it's purely out of consideration, but I think you guys did some awesome stuff here. So especially for like, it sounded like most of you guys had no material experience. Anyway, so great job, guys.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
Thank you.
Nice. And I think it it would be a lofty goal. This is not like pragmatic thinking here, but I just think it'd be really cool if something like this, like if some of our members made something and then like future cohorts could use it for their own projects, setting it up and working through it and management and having, deadlines and stuff like that. It would just be really cool to like, hey guys, so we're going to be using this platform that was made in a previous cohort. Like, how cool would that be? Anyway, like I said, it's lofty thinking there. All right, so again, great job, Team E. So Team C consists of myself and Mark, and I don't think Aaron is here. I didn't see him come in. And then Jacob. And I'm actually going to ask Mark if he would want to kind of take it away. He was pretty much the mastermind behind a lot of what we did, and Jacob was just an absolute workhorse and got a lot of things implemented for us. So
yeah,
I'm gonna put myself on mute.
So Jacob, I can talk about it some, and then could you share your screen and kind of walk them through it?
Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, so the project that we created, it was called Supermarket Sweepers. The idea behind this one was we were going to pull data from different grocery stores and compare like food prices with inflation and everything else going on. The idea was to like, give people something that they could go quickly check like multiple stores. I think overall, we definitely got the concepts of everything working. Definitely need more work and fine tuning in terms of like actually getting everything implemented the way we would want it. Like if it was actually having users use it a lot, but all the concepts are there. So the first main concept we worked on was doing web scraping. That's how we pulled all the data. So we started with a much smaller like goals. So we just picked 2 different grocery stores, we picked Walmart and Kroger, and we just focused on like different like categories of like meat. So we just picked a small category, and Jacob wrote all this stuff for Walmart. I wrote all the stuff for Kroger. We used a package called Puppeteer, which uses Chromium to like launch like a virtual, that's not virtualized, but it basically launches like a small browser instance that you can control. And so that actually was pretty straightforward to use and allowed us to do all the web scraping we needed to do, which I'd never done before. And I thought it was kind of a cool thing to do. So we did that to get all of our data. So it was real data. We also have scripts we could run that pull, refresh data if we wanted to do that, but we just ran the data a while ago. And then we ended up going with Firebase on that. But for our stuff, I think that was a mistake because we had like about 500 items that we were comparing, and that was just between the 2 stores. And Firebase charges you reads based on every single document read. And so I structured that as each item being a document. But that ended up costing us way too many reads because at the beginning, just to keep it simple, we were like reading everything and then running filters on it. But then we ended up putting a limit on that. But even then we were going to do like pagination, but I couldn't, at least in the time, I couldn't figure out how to do pagination without using reading the whole database to get the full count of whatever the search was. And then we're also trying to leverage like the backend to do all the querying. So our API route, you can attach query strings for it, and that's actually what does the filtering and stuff. But anyway, so our concepts are working, but as of right now, it only pulls the first 25 results from whatever you search with. And there were some weird things with the Firebase querying stuff. I had a hard time being able to do like order by statements with multiple queries for some reason. Like, so I'd have multiple where statements and then try to chain like dynamically chain a order by statement to it. And that didn't seem to work very well. And then like I said, the pagination issue. But overall, I mean, this is coming from all the data. You can select different stores, different types of food, and you can even search the results on a filter as well. So we have kind of all that functionality in there. Jacob, did you want to talk about anything on the front end?
Sure. So, but just real quick, what you were saying about the limit, that's what we were doing for testing right now. Right now, it's just all of them.
Okay, so you removed the limit.
Yeah, I removed it last night real quick. And so we have, so it's the first time I've used Bootstrap, anything like that. So that was interesting. But yeah, we got these search fields you can type in to filter it or whatnot.
I was like, that's probably gonna come up with nothing. You do that, there you go.
Yeah, it makes query to the back end. I don't know, he covered it pretty well. It's not a ton left to say. It's pretty functional, but needs a lot of polish. We were definitely losing some steam in terms of productivity and whatnot, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they both did a really good job. I don't think Aaron could make it tonight. I think he got a new job within this last week and was moving, and I think mentioned like some other life event on top of that. But he actually he did the landing page and the nav bar, at least the initial aspect of it. And he's done more work on the back end, so this allowed for him to work on learning some more TypeScript, React type stuff. And I forget what he used for styling. Did he just use like Bootstrap or Sass, or was it just CSS?
It was just CSS.
It was just CSS.
But Jacob and I were working the other day, and I recommended to him to start using like Bootstrap or just some kind of like, you could use Material UI, something like that, because it makes styling easier and faster.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of the grunt work out of trying to do everything by hand with just pure CSS. So I'd recommend to anyone, if you've never done it, challenge yourself to do a project with just pure CSS, because you'll learn a lot, and then you'll also gain a lot more appreciation for when you do get to use libraries and all the hard work that was put into those. So.
For sure. I know for myself, I learned quite a bit, like with basics of backend stuff and basics of web scraping and things of that nature. But it ended up being more of like kind of going off and learning these fundamental things more so than it was actually anything that really helped move the project along. So I really appreciate Jacob and Mark for kind of guiding me in those efforts and that self-growth and everything. Any questions or comments from the rest of the group? Anything from anyone else in the room right now? All right, well, those are our two groups. I think if we would have had more time and some of us in group C, mainly myself, had a little bit less on our plate outside of this, I think it would have been really cool to add like gas to that as well, because the gas prices are also kind of up there. I know it's not, yeah, gasoline, and I just say that, yeah, for like you know, for your vehicles and whatnot. Obviously, it wouldn't work so much with Kroger, but whenever Walmart was brought up, I thought about that, and I thought about like Brookshire's has it, and other grocery stores and stuff like that. But just again, if there were more time and whatnot. All right, so again, really good job from Team E and from Team C. Did y'all use a linter or anything? Jacob or Mark?
I don't think y'all had one set up on the front end. That's what I was trying to.
Did he say?
A linter. So that helps
Uh,
you like, and that thing I was telling you about Prettier, Jacob, that would have saved so much time because then it forces like code formatting standards, but then it also like formats it for you. So you can use a linter combined with something like Prettier, and as long as you have them set up together, like it will just reinforce like 2 or 4 spacings for everything and single quotes or double quotes. And then linters are also good because they can like make you use const and let when you need to, or just like different kinds of little syntax things. It can catch that on top of the TypeScript.
So to answer your question, I did not.
No. Yeah. So that will make that'll make the project look better, and it'll make sure that's at a certain standard. But I would definitely like look at like ESLint and configuring that with React and TypeScript, and then like I said, Prettier for your code like formatter, and getting those implemented. It's a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it can actually be really helpful.